transform your life with the gratitude. You know, like sometimes you overcome really hard times in your life after divorce, after losing your loved one. It could be a parent, it could be a child. And you feel so low, and then you just don't know where to go, and you don't know whom to ask help. I must say, today's guest is a very special lady. Evie Shaw, she is an incredible woman. She's not only an author, a speaker, she's a life coach, she will tell you all about that, but she's also a visual goal expert. So if you haven't came across that, you'll find out more about this today. I'm sure she'll mention something, but also there's one more special name which actually she's holding, and this is Dream Alive Creator. My darling, I'm so glad you are on my show today because I cannot wait for you to bring so much value to our audience and for them to learn how to transform their lives with the help of the gratitude. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. This is fun.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And I must say, you know, when we had a discussion about, what exactly you're so passionate about, and when you speak about helping people to transform their lives with the gratitude, you really have that spark in your eyes. And I can tell that this spark in your eyes is not the spark in your eyes which you were born with. It's something which you overcome, wasn't it?
It definitely something that I overcame. Yes.
Oh, that is so spectacular. But darling, could you please tell us more about how actually people could transform their lives with the gratitude? And how did you even come up with this concept? I'm not sure. Do you want to tell us more about your story? Do you feel like sharing?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great story, like a tragedy to triumph. And so my husband left me in 2012, and we had 3 sons. And I wanted my marriage to work, like more than anything. From a little girl, I wanted my marriage to work. I wanted one mom, one dad to raise children and live happily ever after, the storybook kind of dream. And so when my husband left me, I just wanted him back, right? And so I just began to read and try to figure out how can I make this work? I had always studied marriage and tried to do the right things. So anyway, he had been gone several months, and I got a hold of a book. And I do write about this in my chapter. I'm a chapter in a book, and I tell my whole story, and it really is a great story. But here to kind of sum it up is I got my hands on a book, and it talked about being grateful and thankful for everything.
Wow.
And when I read it, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like,
Yeah.
my husband's gone. He's living somewhere else with someone else. And I need to be thankful for everything. And so that began my journey.
Mm. I
So,
like it. I like it how you actually had to find the strength to be grateful for something what at that moment doesn't even feel like you want to be grateful for. All you want to do is just to send some swear words as he walks away, right?
right, right. Yeah. And I do tell in the book, I mean, I did have the feelings of I want to throw his stuff out in the yard and I want to change the locks. But I didn't. I mean, my deepest desire was for him to come home to our children and to me, for our marriage. And so I began to read. I read lots of books on the subject of being thankful for everything. And yes, he mentioned in these books being thankful for the very things you don't like. And as I began to do that, it began to change me. I the first time that it happened, the first few times, first 10, 20, I don't know how many, like literally, I'm like, I had to really like gather up all the strength I had to say, I'm so thankful that he's not here. If he's supposed to be here, he'd be here. And I wasn't happy and I wasn't thankful and I wasn't even really saying it nicely. And so, but I did say it and I kept saying it. and it changed me.
Hmm. I love
Too,
that. I
too
love that.
good. Yes.
It's really magical experience because very often we are quite good at being thankful for amazing stuff in our lives. We naturally are because we just say thank you. But being grateful for very nasty experiences, being grateful for something which you never wanted, that is a skill. That is a
Right.
real skill. So is there any technique how people should do that? Is it just by writing? Is it just like for example, I have my gratitude journal where I put
Right.
10 gratitudes every day. Is it
Right.
something similar like that? Or how people can do that?
Oh, that's a great question. And yes, I have a gratitude journal. I have had a gratitude journal for many years. The gratitude concept was not new to me when this happened. It just took quite a spin in a whole new direction. So, a gratitude journal is great. For me, what I had to do was the moments that the pain came a deeper level than just living every day when he didn't show up or he didn't call or he didn't check on us on the weekends. I would have to say that I'm so thankful and grateful that he's not here, because if he was here, because if he was supposed to be here, he would be. And I just had to trust that everything was happening as it should. Now, it didn't feel like it was happening as it should by any means, but I had to trust the process of all these books that I had read. And so it was saying it, and yes, writing it. I'm a big believer in writing things out, even if it is the negative or the positive, but it does help to get your feelings out from you onto the paper. So speaking it and writing it, yes, they're huge, huge.
Love that. Love that. So basically, whenever you are going through a hardship in your life, whether it is a divorce, whether your partner just disappears, it was your boyfriend and he just separates from you, it is a girlfriend, doesn't have to be just, boyfriend or a man. And so you just need to start writing down that you're grateful that they are not there. And do you have to come up with something like, oh, I'm so grateful he's not here because I can sunbathe in the garden? Or is it,
Right.
you know what I
That's,
mean? Or is it
yeah.
just thanks?
That's no, that's super question, because sure, look for the reasons why you could be glad. So maybe you're thinking, I'm not glad, and I can name a million reasons why I'm not glad, but can you think of one that you are? And if you can't, then the thing you could say is, I'm so thankful and grateful for what's happening because it's going to bring about a greater good. Yeah.
Good.
You don't know what it is, can't know what it is. If you knew what it was, you'd be okay. And I laid in my floor literally 18 months. I
Wow.
was so devastated. Now, I did raise my children and I came out and we had a great time. But when I went by myself, I cried. I got my eyeliner tattooed on because I cried all the time because I just wanted my husband to come home. And so, yeah, just thinking you can't know what the end is. You don't know. You can't see. It seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And I do want to encourage people, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You have to look for it. Because when you look for the bad, you'll find it. When you look for the good, you'll find it. So
Yeah, you are so spot on here. So spot on here. I'll tell a little quick story here because this weekend I went hiking and I was sitting on the rock doing my journaling because I'm really strong about journals. I do my journaling all the time. And on the weekends, I usually take it with me on the hikes. And as I sat down on the rock, long story short, a guy comes to me and he asks me, have you found what you're looking for? And I'm like, wow, that's so profound question. I'm going to put it in my journal. And he's like, what do you mean? And here and there we speak about two different things, right? And I'm like, well, I'm doing these journals. So long story short, apparently there's such a game which people play when they hide treasures in different parts of the
oh,
countryside. And then
yeah,
as you hike around, you find them, you make a little note, you leave a little treasure there, you pick up a treasure
yes.
and you move on.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay. I have heard of that.
That,
Yeah.
the treasure box was literally under my rock. I was sitting on this rock.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, how profound is that? How often, just like what you said, if you're not
Yeah,
looking for that light at the end of the tunnel, you're not going to find it.
find
And the
it.
same with that, I was not looking for the treasure box. As a result, I would never find it. And he just pulled it out. He's like, there it is. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was sitting right on this rock. So he,
That is amazing.
exactly,
That's the perfect story. That's the perfect story. Yeah.
that's what I
That's
thought.
exact. That's it. That's it.
I'm gonna use
You weren't looking for it and you didn't find it. So,
absolutely, absolutely. And what you say there is so spot on. If you want to find the light at the end of the tunnel, you got to really look for that. But would you say, because you referred to the chapter in the book, would you say that writing, becoming an author, was that somehow helping you? What did that journey do for you, becoming an author? Was the part of your journey of towards that light at the end of the tunnel?
well, my whole story happened without me thinking about writing it. But I do know, and I will say, when I was laying on my floor and bawling and crying and just, please let my husband come home, I wanted one person to tell me it's going to be okay. And I thought, when I get out of here, that's what I'm going to do. So I didn't know how it would come to be in a book or just in me speaking, but I want to bring that hope to people who are in the darkness, because it's so dark there because you can't see further than what's happening. And so the book and the chapter right now is giving me the tools to kind of go out and go further. But at that moment, I just knew I want to help somebody, even if I help one person. So,
That is such a beautiful mission. I must say, I'm so passionate about helping others as well. Well, what a surprise we got connected, right?
right.
So special when you know you can change somebody else's life with the hurdles, with the troubles, with the challenges which you had in the past. But darling, apart of losing your husband who left you for another woman, you also lost your child, right?
Right. 2 years after my divorce, I lost my child.
Wow. How did that affect you and how did you manage to overcome that?
Wow. Yeah, that's a good question. And of for people who have lost their children, and anybody's heard that that's just the worst pain you can go through, the worst event you can go through, and it's so true. Um, how I overcame that, or I mean, it's a process, of course, but I got my hands on a book really shortly after he passed away, and it was from a man who experienced plenty of loss on his own right, and he knew what he was talking about, and he said, you know how people say we lost them too soon, they left too soon, we didn't have enough days with them. And then he said, but what if we had the exact right number of days with them, the perfect amount of years, the perfect amount of days, and they left exactly when they were supposed to. And when I read that, I thought, I'm hopping on that train. I'm going that direction, because the other option is to doubt and to question and to be angry and see all the negative. But I don't want to do that. I've tried to live my life very positive. And so when I read that, I thought, that's it. That's it. I believe there's no accidents. If there's no accidents, then he went when he was supposed to, right? It just wasn't my timetable. It wasn't enough years for me. but I'm just going to believe that it was the right time. And that helped me to see positive. And the other thing is I have two other children that are amazing humans, and I want to show them when things happen, you can go forward and you can not make good from it. You can find the good in it. There's good in everything. In February, I met Bob Proctor. I met him, came to know who he was, went to a conference, became a consultant. And he says for every bad thing, there's an equal and opposite good thing. And for every really bad thing, there's a really good thing. And so, and he even went so far as he says, when there's really, really, really a tragedy, there's an equal and opposite, really, really amazing, phenomenal thing. And I'm like, that's it. That's he went when he was supposed to. And good can come from this. And it's hard to say that, because who wants to say, oh, there's good that my child's gone? No, I love that child. Every mom loves their child. But he's not here. Yeah. He's gone. And I want to make the best of that. And he was an amazing person, amazing. His service is on YouTube and it's so inspirational. And so anyway, I want to honor him and his life. Did I answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. But you answered the question in the most beautiful way. I love how you refer to the perfect amount of days which you were supposed to have between you two, and the leave when it's time to go. And right. We can never plan it because it's not up to our timeline. And I think that relates perfectly well with the way how children come into our lives, right? For example, when I had my child, my plan was to give birth. I had a plan when I will give a birth on the 5th of February. Every mother on earth knows, right, that nothing happens accordingly to how you want and when you want to give birth, right? So Nick, my son, he decided to come out on 26th of January, right? So like, come on, nearly 2 weeks earlier, I was like, oh, I'm still doing my exams. I'm not ready. Come on, lady. I was like, don't come out yet. It's too early.
Yes. Yes.
So it's almost like they come at the right time and they leave at the right time. And none of this is under our control. So I love what you said, that was really profound. It's about treasuring and really enjoying the time which you have already in and now, and really playing with that, really kind of enjoying that, making every moment count.
Right. And I'm so blessed that we lived our lives that way. Even though my husband left, in the midst of that, I still had that desire to give my children these great memories and to live life big. And we lived on an educator salary, but I took them everywhere that we could possibly go, on trips to see things and to live life. And when it was Colson's service, I stood there and I said, we couldn't have crammed one more minute of life into that 7 years. We couldn't have.
That is remarkable. I love that. I absolutely love that. You see, I love the way how you are looking at something and you are literally changing the view of that.
Right.
Like you have you, but you change the view. It's really an interesting concept you're playing here with. Can you tell us about that?
So I have a saying that I love. It's Wayne Dyer's, but it says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Yeah. And it's so true. It's so profound. It's huge. And I could look at Colson's death as tragic and awful, and it was, and I could live in that, but there were 17 great years that I choose to look at it in that way and from that perspective. And my husband leaving, it was at that time the worst thing that I could think of, and I wanted him back. But as I began to be thankful and I began to change, I became a new person. I became a better mom. I became a better friend. I became it's amazing. Like, I was filled with joy and peace And I remember talking with one of my friends after, and her husband was going through an affair and she was upset. Of course, it's awful. There's nothing good about it, but you can look for the good that can come from it. And so that's where you can be thankful for that. So I've helped a few of my friends change the way they looked at things, and their marriage changed, or the divorce they were about to get didn't happen, and because they could see it in a different way. So it's changing the way you look at things can definitely change things.
Wow. Wow. I must say, you gave us so many golden nuggets today. It's sharing the gratitude, even if though you're not so happy about something, still be grateful for that, and find amazing reasons why you're so grateful about this. Changing the way how you look at things, change your perspective to make sure you are seeing what you're supposed to see, looking for that light at the end of the tunnel. Gosh, it was so full on. Wow, that's amazing. But darling, how people can find out about you? Like, where are you? What social media are you using? I'll make sure I'll post obviously this all below, but maybe you can guide people more to where they can find out more about you and how they can work with you more.
Okay, so I am working presently on a a landing page to where everything about me will be on there, and I do offer some programs. I would love to walk with people through these things and help them maneuver it and get through it and give them hope and encouragement. And so my email at this moment, so in not too far future, too far away, I'll have a landing page, but I can be reached at liveyourdreamevie@gmail.com. And I'm on Facebook as Evie Shaw. And I have Instagram in that, but if they Facebook and my Gmail at this moment is the best way. And not too far from now, I will have my landing page with all the information. So, and then my book that I'm a part of, I'm one chapter in a book, is Awakened. Um, and that was, yeah, that was such a blessing to be a part of that. So
Oh,
it's
that is
on Amazon.
exciting.
It's an already international bestseller. So
Oh, wow, it's already international bestseller. Okay, right. So I want the link and I want to post that below this video so people actually can
okay.
get that and they can get inspired by your story, because there's so
Yeah.
many women who lost their husbands. There's so many men who lost their wives to one reason or another. There's so many parents, even I know personally, who lost their children,
I've
and some
lost.
people went on my show just like yourself. There's so many other people who are going through grieving, who are actually going through really hardships right now. So your book, that particular chapter, and I'm sure the book itself as well, I'm sure
Yes.
inspires so many lives. So I'll definitely make sure I'll share the link to this international bestseller.
All right.
Definitely. Oh, but thank you so much for coming up today and sharing your wisdom, your value, your bright light. Because the way how I look at you is like that candle which is standing in a dark room, but it shines so far and brings the light so far. And that's exactly how I see that you can enlighten any
Mm,
space. So thank you so much for
thank you.
shining bright.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to let people know, because so many people are hurting and there is light at the end of the tunnel. So, and there's good. There's good that can come from it. There just is. So
How
look for the good. So here's one of my sayings that I think I made it up. I think it's me. Is there's a gift in every problem. Look for the gift.
I love that. I love that. And with this phrase, there is a gift in every problem. I would like to finish off this show. And those who were watching us until the very end, thank you so very much for watching this and being with us today. I hope you will find your gift in every problem which you are facing right now. Don't forget to follow the links to actually connect with this amazing sunshine and beautiful person, beautiful heart. To get the book, don't forget to get this international bestseller book, but also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so actually you can receive so many more inspirational stories, just like we had today from Evie. So thank you so much, my darling. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure. It was a joy to have everybody watching us today. I'll wish you
Yeah,
all the best. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.